Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I'm going to do a will it run video, or make it run video, hopefully, on this Bally gold ball. I got a whopping $200 in it. It's probably about what it's worth right now. You see, it's had some weather. I picked it up at a mechanic's garage. He had it in kind of an outbuilding, and the side of the building was pretty much open. I don't think the door was ever shut, so didn't get rain directly on it, but just atmospheric moisture, you might say. So I never opened it up. I haven't looked inside. I don't know if the boards are in it. I don't know anything. I offered a couple $100. He took it and I loaded it up, threw it in the truck, and that was a couple months ago. And I'd like to get this. I don't know if I'm going to go through and fix the whole thing up, but I'd like to get it booted and up and running. So that's the goal for this afternoon. So this has got the Supreme power cord. Somebody snapped it in two. Well, let's just get two-prong off of a I don't know, lamp. I bet it looks really nicely done inside of that tape, but we'll deal with that another day. Got my first rag's worth of dirt off this thing. It's just making soup, making mud. It's just like nasty. Get some more. You know, actually, the playfield doesn't look all that bad. Dirty. Not too awful worn. Very much serviceable. Yeah, I would say it's pretty decent, actually. I love that style of outlane. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Not much else on this game. That's kind of a interesting thing, but it just like goes to the pop bumper, so not much there. And the shot just takes you to the top, so kind of boring playfield, I guess I'd say. Yeah, I mean, there's 3 death shots here. Yeah, not much to shoot at. Oh, that's nice. I thought I saw the ball. Maybe that. I thought I saw the ball down here. Maybe it got back up there, but that's pretty. So the boards actually look pretty decent. So somebody was good. They took the battery off. Thank you, somebody. I did plug this thing in because the guy told me it was on. It would turn on, and it was just just the GI lights. All it was. So I know this thing doesn't boot up, but these boards look fairly clean. And maybe it's just a fuse. So this is an interesting board here. So with this generation of the classic Bally's, they got rid of the lamp driver board that would normally be here and integrated the lamp board into the solenoid driver board. So you got all these SCRs for the lamp board are in the solenoid driver board. So I've never worked on this particular board, but it looks just like the regular one, just kind of jammed over and made room for the lamps, and you don't have a lamp driver board. So saving money. So I'm going to get the glass off of here and get the playfield up and get down to the rectifier board and see if I've got some voltages and what other kind of rat's nest, whatever. So the switches are just like bare-ended here. That's pretty nice right there. More deletion. What the heck are this? Kind of is that a tilt thing? I don't know what the heck that is. I don't know. Rectifier board. Visually, they don't look blown. Doesn't mean a whole lot. Board itself kind of looks okay. Knocker's not totally cooked. Oh, there's the battery for the NPU. It's sitting in the back. It's good it got all the way out of the top of the cabinet. So it didn't look too bad down in here. Oh, let me show you the ball. Like, it's not the rustiest ball I've seen, but it's the blackest ball I've seen. Yeah. Well, oh, is that? I think that's a rat edge. Can y'all see that? Yeah. So a rat has eviscerated the insulation off that wire. So I don't see any signs of rats in here. That's exactly what that looks like. It's been like that a while because it's all corroded and green. I don't see any other wires that are eaten except one. Huh. Well, I think what I'll do is unplug these connectors here, power up this board, and see if I get any voltages. So I've got all the outputs disconnected there. Just gonna real quick check these fuses. Trying to check on the connector and not on the fuse, just so I can check the connection also, the connector also. That one may be blown. I think it is. That one's dead. And that's a solenoid voltage right there, so that will keep the game from booting. So I'm going to start by going and getting a 5 amp fuse and throwing in there, and then we'll turn the game on. Okay, so I got the game on here, and I'm going to see if I can check these voltages. There's T. Now get this. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see it if I don't get my hand in the way. 14 volts. So that's going to be the 12. That's going to be the 5. 43. That's solenoid. That's jumping around, so that's probably the AC. Yeah, that's the 9 volts AC, or the 6 volts AC for the GI lights. It's the high voltage, 180. And there's one more here. It's like we don't. This one here, can't see what it says, but it'd have to, the only one left would be the controlled lights voltage. It appears to be dead, but we could probably move on without that. So we don't have controlled lights. Okay, and I know which way this is going, so that's off. Okay, so I'm gonna plug things in, and I'm gonna see if our solenoid driver board can make 5 volts. So I had to fish around at the bottom and find this cord here. And now I've just got it attached here with a jumper for now. So now I've got this is the same ground as the transformer base. So now I can measure all these other voltages up here. And that top one is, well, yep. Maybe we've lost it. That was, I thought. Well, it has to be, because now, yeah, that was, these things are just all so crusty, I can't get a good connection. So there's 5 volts. Everything is corroded, 5 volts. 5 volts. That one's 5 volts. And this one is not. I don't know if it's supposed to be T-point. And this TP4, I didn't read earlier. I read, yeah, like 10 or 15 volts. That's the voltage coming in. On the high voltage side, I can see the glow over there, but I've got 235. I think that's the one. I think that's the one coming out. And the one coming in is also like 239. And I've adjusted this rheostat here. Doesn't make any difference. I'll go all the way the other way. And still the same. So one of these little, it's either that one or that one. One of those old transistors is bad. It's not too bad a fix. So I've got 5 volts here. I believe I've got the 5 volts over on the board, but it's just, as you can see, it's just locking on. I said the board looked clean, and it did superficially on the board, but some of these chips, these 6800, 6803s, they were awful looking, and the sockets, you know, no way. So I just got through putting in new chips and new sockets for these 3. I'm probably gonna re-socket at least the 2 ROMs, and maybe actually that one, yeah, that one didn't look horrible. That also looks horrible, that RAM chip. So probably at least these 3. I'm tempted to throw it in the game just real quick to see if I've done anything by those 3. So I think I'll do that real quick. Just got the one connector, and this is actually Star Trek, but if it's gonna boot, it should boot. Nope, still locked on. And it may not have anything to do with these chips. It may be the startup section, which is all the stuff down in here. But again, that actually looks pretty clean. Now this big honking resistor, I don't understand what that is about. I haven't looked into that. I don't know if somebody swapped out a different resistor and just happened to have a sand resistor, but you shouldn't need that big power resistor in there, I don't think. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, so it could be something down in this section is blown up. But like I said, it doesn't, I haven't got the multimeter out and checked anything, but it looks clean, and this stuff just had to go either way, and so does this. So I'm probably going to go ahead and fix those, and then I'll look at the reset section. So I just grabbed a new Weebly MPU, pulled up the gold ball, and apparently there's a gold ball at home. I just put in the gold ball for now. So it's on, then it's all off, and 6 and 7 are on. So I just dialed them up here, on, all off, 6 and 7 are on, then off. And looks like he's got all these settings. These are the normal setting, dip switch settings for the game. Like the first 4 or 5 here for coins, first 4 or 5 here for coins, and the rest of them basically determine how hard it is. Turn the match on and off, 3 balls, 5 balls, all that kind of crap. Doesn't really matter for just getting this thing going. So I'm gonna throw this in game and see if we can get this thing booted up, and see, with this, we'll be able to see what else is broken. And maybe we'll fry this board too. All right, so I got the new board in the game. I'll do the first smoke test to the new board. 2, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're booted, and we got some lights and some attract mode. I think something on the home one said something about better attract mode. So maybe this is, the attract mode just sucks on the original one. Let's see if I'll hit the coin switch and see if not the coin switch, but the menu switch. Yeah, so we got a bunch of lights that are not working. Just looking around. Oh, we got aux drivers up here. I wonder what that's about. Are there flashers back here? No. Not exactly sure what those are for. Maybe they're for the controlled lights on the, because there's not very many lamps. SCRs here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's only 30 controlled lights, and there's probably more. Yeah, there's more than 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 16. Yeah, there's more than 30 lights, I would say. So maybe that's what they're doing. So anyway, okay, so that's that. Let's see the displays. I bet at least some of them are messed up. Well, shoot. A little glitching in this one, but remember we got like 200 something volts. So that could just be it's too much voltage. And you really don't want to run these really long with that high voltage because it will burn them up. But it's not gonna hurt them for a little bit. I say that, I don't know. It won't hurt as much as if you leave it on all night. Okay, solenoid test. Did it move over? Oh, it went to switch test, I think. Yeah, no, that's solenoid test. It's testing them, and it's not going. It's running through the solenoid. So I wonder if we got a fuse blown on the playfield. Be my next thing. So let me flip up the playfield and see if we got a dead fuse. Because you got to have solenoid voltage for that game to boot. If so, we do have solenoid voltage getting here. So it's making the solenoid voltage. It's just not doing anything with the playfield. So let me check the fuse. So I found the fuse here, and I've got these set. So the buzz. Huh, the fuse is good. Well, I guess next thing we'll do is just see if we're getting voltage through the playfield. Turn it on and see if we got our 43 volts on the coils. Could be one of those aux driver relays. Maybe those are control. I don't know why they'd be up there if they're controlling solenoid voltage. But maybe, I don't know. All right, so I get the game turned on. Put this in DC voltage and see if we got some voltage here. I'm testing several of these and I'm seeing no, no, and no. What does that one say? No. So I've got no voltage to the playfield. Let me try either side of this fuse. Let's do that. This is not up high enough. My leads are not long enough. I'm gonna just stop video here and check it myself. Okay, so we've got no solenoid voltage coming even into the fuse holder here. So I think that's the only fuse holder on this game. I haven't really looked, and this is a little bit different of a Bally. I looked online. They only made 3 games with this version of the solenoid driver board. This one, Granny and the Gators, and Baby Pac-Man. That's the Baby Pac-Man's one with the video game on the top. So it's kind of an oddball setup. But I've got no solenoid power coming to the playfield. I do have solenoid power getting to the MPU. So I'm guessing it's connectors on the solenoid driver board or something worse on the solenoid driver board. I just rechecked my voltages on this board and I got 5 volts, 5 volts, 5 volts, 5 volts, and nothing on TP9. I think I'll go get the schematics because this, like I said, I've never worked on this board before. This TP9, I bet it's supposed to have something. I did measure to make sure it wasn't a ground. I measured continuity between that pin and this braid, and there's several hundred ohms. So I don't think it's a ground. I'm trying to see where actually, it does look like it's a ground. It's tied, see that? It's tied to the perimeter of the board. Maybe this board's just not grounded very well. Yeah, I think that is the ground. That'd explain why there's no voltage. Well, either way, I'm gonna go look at schematics and figure out how this thing is supposed to work, figure out where the power is coming from. Maybe I don't have one of the plugs in on the rectifier board plugged in all the way. Again, I've definitely got the solenoid voltage getting up here, but I don't have it on the playfield. So here's my power coming in, my 43 volts going to the flippers, and it goes through the, also goes through that 1 amp slow blow fuse that I checked, and all the other solenoids on the playfield. So anyway, it's A2J1. I just checked. A2 is the rectifier board. So it's J17. So it could be just cold solder joint in J17 because I never pulled that out. We're doing a will it run. I'm not trying to fix it. I'm trying to get it to run. A2J17. I'm going to go check and see if we got power on or voltage on that pin on the male side sticking out. I'm going to unplug it and see if we got voltage. Okay, so I disconnected there. Let me turn on the game. Okay, so it's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That should be 7. I got 0 volts. Looks like we're pulling this board after all. I'm gonna, let me see if it's been booted. Yeah, I did. So I guess it's a different pin that gives voltage to the MPU. Because like I said, that 43 volts has to come from this board and go to the MPU for it to boot. And it did boot, so there's another one that's providing it to the MPU. So pulling this sucker, so looking at the bottom of this board, and it actually doesn't look that bad. That's the pin, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the pin there in question. Just wanted to focus on that tower standing up there, and it doesn't look awful. Doesn't even look bad. Nothing looks bad on this. The AC's coming in, somebody's resoldered them and not super well. You really want the meniscus to kind of be concave like that. I mean that it's really sticking to the post, the pin, and when it's the other way, it's like water beating on a well-waxed car. It's not really sticking very well. Like that one has not been reflowed, and the original is sticking, and that either they didn't get hot or they didn't clean it before they reflowed it. Anyway, those look pretty bad. I may clean those off, you know, but what I'm thinking is maybe I didn't have a good ground when I measured this, and so maybe it's the voltage was there, and I just did a poor job measuring the voltage. The grounds in this game are horrible. That's what I'm learning. So, because I didn't measure a voltage anywhere else, so I don't know that I had the ground, my probe on the ground strap in the cabinet, and that might not have been a wise choice. But anyway, I'm going to go through this a little bit right now. Maybe I got it out. I'm going to do some maintenance on it and check all these diodes and the rectifier, and maybe I'll put in the right fuses. I bet some of these are wrong. I would bet money. That is not a 3/4 amp. That's a slow blow in any case. It doesn't say slow blow. That's not supposed to be a slow blow. 8 amp? Maybe. 8 amp? Nah, that's like at least a 10. Anyway, so I'm gonna go through this real quick. Well, I completely don't understand. I was checking these fuses, and that solenoid fuse that I stuck in there was fried. So the question remains, how did the game boot without that? I don't understand. I'm almost positive that that board has to have a solenoid voltage to boot. That makes no sense to me at all, unless it fried while I don't get it. By the way, all these fuses are wrong. That one was right. I haven't checked this one yet. I know it's wrong because that's a slow blow, and it's not supposed to be a slow blow. So yeah, But anyway, I'm swapping these out. Doing a little bit of cleaning with the brush here. Nothing too big. And I decided not to check all the diodes and everything on this board. I know they're all working because I've got all this. I've got GI lights, I've got controlled lights, I've got solenoid voltage. It's all. I've got high voltage. It's all there. So this board is working. Something on the playfield or something somewhere blew this real fast. But for whatever reason, it's still booting. Maybe it's this weird system, and because I put the settings on it, it will boot without the high voltage. That's news to me. I got to confirm that this game will boot without that voltage, because that does not make sense to me. You know, I just plugged this in the board. I was thinking to myself, what if, for whatever reason, that MPU doesn't need the solenoid voltage, and the rectifier is blown, and that's why the fuse is blown. And you could have figured that out if you'd just checked it real quick. But I didn't, so we're going to do it a different way. We're going to plug everything back in, and we're going to find out. One thing I am going to do here is I'm going to take this fuse out. Gosh, you have to get a screwdriver for that. Probably the wrong fuse anyway. It might be the right one. Take that fuse out, just rule that out of the question. And we'll turn it on and see if this thing pops immediately. Yep, I saw it go. I saw it move. Can't really see it. I'm gonna turn it off and pull it out. It did not blow, but I saw the little filament move when I turned it on, like it was getting heat stressed. So it was just, that's not right. Something is not cool with that. I'm guessing these are probably making the solenoid. Usually that one there, y'all can't see what I'm looking at. It's too zoomed in. That one there is the controlled lamps, and that would be the solenoid. That'd be the high voltage there. Let me turn it on again. Well, let me put this back in. Actually, let's do this. I don't have my solenoid voltage in there. I'm gonna turn it on, see if this thing boots. It is booted without solenoid voltage. Can somebody explain that to me? I've never seen a classic Bally do that. How in the heck? You can see the displays are going. So that throws me for a loop. Unless that's not really the solenoid. It says it is, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I got somebody at the door. Just proved myself for bench testing. Oh, so yeah, the 7th flash requires 43 solenoid volts. So I don't know. Maybe this is an upgrade to the newest board from Weebly. I did notice there was some slightly bigger dip switches in there. So maybe he reworked the board so that it doesn't need 43 volts to fully boot. I just texted him or emailed him to ask him the question, so maybe he'll respond. So, get this board back in here. I've got 43 volts. I get interrupted there, but there's 43 volts there. And now I've got 43 volts coming into this fuse. So, probably put that fuse back on there. That's what blows the fuse down there. But really, that one should blow first, ideally. So this is the one I pulled out of there. I can't really read these things half the time. I'm gonna get my glasses, see if I can read. So that fuse I pulled out of there was a 5 amp slow blow, and it's supposed to be a 1 amp slow blow. So I've got a 1 amp slow blow in my hand here, and it'll probably pop immediately. Well, maybe not. I don't think it did. So now we should have voltage to our coils. And we do. Okay. Geez, I think we're ready to start a game. Except this coin door is a mess. I was just looking at the coin switches here, And so none of the switches are connected to anything. Like, so the red and the blue go up to here. Can y'all see that? They're completely parted. And then there's this red here. Maybe that, I don't know, is that the same red? That's red and white, and that's red and white, yeah. Probably somebody was doing something where they touched a couple of these wires together to make it work. I would bet. There's one strand and one strand. What do you think? Oh my gosh, what a mess. Okay, I think I see what's going on here. So somebody has rigged up this brown and orange wire. They run over here to like a little hap switch, like an arcade switch. So that's their credit button. So those two are running over to red and white and red and green. So I think if I touch that to connect these, but they've been ripped apart. So I connect red and white and red and white and red and green and red and green. And then I press the switch, maybe something happens. Okay, I did a great job wiring this stuff up. Just twisted those up a little bit. Press the credit button down here. It's making the lights twinkle. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't see any credits. I don't think you should make the lights twinkle when I hit the credit button. It's like that light is going off and on when I hit the credit button. And so is that one. Yeah. And it does look like the red and white and red and green are the switches down here. So I think that should probably work. But who knows if the switches, if the connector's in the back of the cabinet. I'll tell you what I'm thinking about doing. Getting my little switch tester thing and pull it out and plug it into the MPU and credit up a game. Without digging out the manual, I just tried the blue one with one of these red ones and that credited it up. I've got 40 credits now. So let me go get at least moderately clean ball and not use one of these two balls. I showed you the one ball. I didn't show you the really rusty one. Now that is really rusty. Fortunately, I got some of these pop caps because those might be hard to find. Probably, I've got 3 of them actually. Oh, that's a blank. 2 of them are missing one of the little nubs, but I can deal with that. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and click the button and see if it'll start a game. Oh, the switch button's also dead. So that's red and yellow and black. Or that's probably blue again. Blue, I don't understand why that's a different color than these. Somebody's just soldered that on there. So some combination, I gotta be careful here because this coil is not, I don't want to get solenoid voltage going in through the switch matrix because those are empty and I don't think any of this solenoid, those are little dainty wires, but got to be a little bit careful. I'm going to go get the manual just to be sure, see what color wires the switch is supposed to be. Yeah, that's blue and white, but that's red and yellow, and I don't have a red and yellow. So it's going to be blue and white in one of these other two. I found the credit switch, so it's strobe 0 and like the list I5, and it's color 13 and 25, and the colors are down another page if I can find it. So 13's red and yellow, and 25 is blue and white. So it was the 2 colors. But I tried to touch those together and didn't work. So I'm plugging in the little testing thing, and we're going to look for STO and I5 on the little test card. So I've got my little test card up here and plugged into for where normally this would be the play field, switches. There's the cabinet switch. I've got them disconnected, but on this board, all these strobes, send and receive, they're wired up in parallel. So really it doesn't matter, but this is made for this connector up here. So anyway, so we're strobe 0, I5. So there's strobe 0, I5. So this one here should start a game. I don't think it did squat. Well, now we're in like no man's land. There's nothing going on. Let me reboot it again, try that again. Did that like kill the game? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't booted up. Okay, so let me try this one more time. We're booted for sure now. Strobe 0, 5. Still looks like it's in attract mode. Yeah. Huh. There's really no reason why that shouldn't work. That's a brand new connector on the board. That's a brand new connector on this. So it's like nothing to keep it from starting up. Maybe I'll try this other ROM, or check this ROM, make sure I've got them set right. I might have it on the wrong game. On, off, on, off. Okay, so I've been having trouble getting this thing started game. So I'm gonna back up a second. I'm gonna go through these tests. I put it back on the regular gold ball game. So I'm gonna go through these tests one at a time. Lamp, at least most of them are working. I'm happy with that. Displays, working. So displays are going. We're going to the next test. Should be solenoids. They're working now. I think they all went. This next test is probably the sound, because there's nothing displayed and the sound's not working at all. I haven't heard a peep other than static. Let's go to the next test. I think that's the display. I need to swap out that with another one of these so I can see what's going on. But we're in the switch test now. Oh, yeah, I can see it there. Okay, I've hit a switch, so 24. I wonder if this game needs a ball. A couple of Bally games need balls, and I don't have a ball in it. That'd be funny. Like, I know I ran into this with Centaur one time. I fought it all day. I know the Bally multi-balls, but maybe this series of Bally needs a ball in it also to start a game. I'm gonna go get a ball. So it's been a couple days, or a day, since I've looked at this, and I've learned a couple things. First, I talked to Andrew, the guy that designs this board here, and I was asking him about, how's this thing boot without the 43 volts? He says the 133 games, which is this game, Grading the Gators, and just a couple of games that uses the 133. And this one does all the games, but it uses the GI voltage for the bulbs for the crossover. And so it doesn't use the 43 volts, it uses the 6 volts AC. So that was news to me. So that explained why it was booting without the solenoid voltage early on. The other thing I was asking, I said, I cannot get this thing to boot. He goes, oh, do you have both balls in the game? I'm like, are you serious? So there were 2 balls, yeah. A super rusty one, and this other one that was like really dark. I even mentioned that it's like super dark. I think that is the gold ball. So I've never messed with the gold ball before, the gold ball pinball machine. So it has 2 balls. And at one point I even looked, because I've worked on a Centaur one time, and the first time I worked on that game, I was like, took me forever to get it booted, because it's got like, I think it's got 5 balls in it. You have to have all 5 balls in the trough for it to boot. So it's like a Williams. And most of the Bally's, they will boot without a ball in there. But the Bally multi-balls require all the balls to be in there.
I knew that was Centaur, so I even looked on Pinside to see if this was a multi-ball game. It's not a multi-ball game. It does have 2 balls, but you never play them at the same time. So in Pinside, it doesn't call it a multi-ball game. It's multi-ball 0. That's what it says. So I was like, okay, it doesn't have 2 balls. And, you put the ball in, 1 ball, and it kicks out. So it's like there's no place for another one unless you look real close and pick up the playfield. Oh, there's a secret trap door down there. But every ball doesn't go through there. The balls just pass through, and then occasionally you do something really cool. It kicks out that gold ball, and you get like double or triple playfield. So it's a little tricky, but still. So I put 2 balls, not these 2 balls. 2 balls in there, and voila, it booted up. So bottom line is, I'm an idiot. Some of you already knew that. I wasted a lot of time chasing my tail. But I don't know if I've got 2 balls in here right now. I may get this thing to boot up. We got some credits. Yep. I got a moderately fresh ball in there. And no sound. It's pretty rough, as you can tell. Wow, that pop bumper works. And we're scoring a few points. And the ball goes in. And that's the same ball that comes out. So there's another ball that's in that little hidey hole down there. And so on the original game that came out, it was like some kind of random feature. It would kick that gold ball out. And then they did a factory update to this, which they called the factory kit, which basically changed the ROM on the MPU. And with the new ROM, you had to, I think you had to spell gold ball or something. You had to do something on the playfield. You had to earn it instead of it just being random. Was the gist of it. I think spelling gold ball, something like that. And then you got the gold ball. So I think this is a gold ball. So I don't know what I'm going to try to clean this with, but I'm going to try to clean it with something. But anyway, this thing is booting and playing. So my will it run? It will run. Really didn't have to do too much to it. Fuse in the bottom, and the start switch was totally jinked up. The credits was messed up. MPU was fried. I'm kind of in the process of going through that MPU. Maybe I'll show you a little bit. I repinned this. I don't think that was necessary. The sound's still dead. I may do a video fixing that sound or attempting to fix the sound. Anyway, so I'll show you what I've got on that MPU. That's gonna look good. Got a little clean spot. That didn't take long at all. That little clean spot's got me excited about this game. I think I'm gonna fix it up. I don't know. I think that golden ball is just like doing it for me. So I've replaced these 3 sockets so far. That chip is kind of dirty looking on the top, but the legs underneath are good. I'm gonna have to swap out. That one looks all right, but that one looks, yeah, pretty horrible. And the ROM chips. So like I've said, I've done those 3 and it still doesn't do anything, just a solid light. The board itself looks pristine, like no corrosion at all. This reset section, well, again, that's a bastardized thing. I need to look at the schematic, see what that is, but surely that's not supposed to be there. I say surely. It's definitely not factory solder. But anyway, I'm going to try to save this board because it's a nice clean board, and I think it's salvageable. I'm going to go I need to change these sockets out either way, so I'm going to change those out, put some new chips in there, and if that doesn't fix it, then I'm going to buy a reset kit. They sell a kit, just has all these components right here that are responsible for getting this thing to try to get that first blink. So it's something down here. And maybe I'll just, I could check these little transistors and isolate it, but I don't know. I haven't messed with this that much. So now I got this game booting and kind of playing. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and fix this thing up or just pass it on down the road. I know a lot of other people like to work on these things too, and this one, I don't know, doesn't. I got a bunch of other games to work on that kind of draw me a little bit more, and I'm always getting more. So I may or may not finish this one up. It's kind of cool, actually. In this play field, it's got a factory Mylar, so the play field's actually fairly decent. You don't see them very often. I watched a video of it. The sound is really cool on it. I like the sounds a lot. To me, the sounds make the game. So I don't know. I'm going to just let it sit for at least probably a few weeks and see what my mind thinks about it then. In the meantime, I'll probably polish this ball a little bit. Today I finished swapping out those 3 sockets, burned a couple chips, and I got a new used chip off another old board and threw that in there. This one looked okay. I took out this ugly thing. It's a 75 ohm. The schematics call for an 82. I didn't have an 82, but I had a 68 and I think it's a 68 and a 12. So it's supposed to be 80. I just measured it 79. So I know some people hate that, but they probably hate it less than this. I hate it less than this, and I guess it's my game. So if I hate it less, that's what I'm doing. I'm not gonna spend $10 to get that one particular resistor. So anyway, I'm gonna just before I talked about populating this area if I have to, but man, this board is clean. It should boot. I'm gonna just throw it in my Star Trek. I've got it right here, and see if that'll. This Star Trek, I meant my Evel Knievel. Let's see if we get some flashes. Where's LED? It's upside down and backwards. It's right there. So should we get the first flicker doesn't count? Then you should have 7. Locked on. Well, that sucks. Wait, that time. 3, 4, 6, 7. First off, it locked on the first time. Then I think I got 6. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's fully booted, but sometimes it doesn't boot, which is a little disturbing. Maybe I need the 82, not the 80. I don't think that's it. That's kind of weird. That time it worked. That time it didn't, and it's just locked on. That is really strange to me. Turn it off and on and it goes. Not too often I see something like this on one of these Bally's. They either work or they don't. I'm gonna go through this in. Well, I don't have it grounded, and I have had all kinds. I know that could be the problem. Probably if I grounded this thing, it'd be solid. The boards really want to be grounded in these things. So I'm gonna go throw this in the gold ball and see if we can get a game going. Before I do that, I'm gonna put a little coin cell battery on here and get rid of this little tether. So that's a negative. I can tell it's negative because it's attached to the ground. That's positive. So I am going to take this and I'm going to scribe a little scratch right there. Just double check, make sure there's nothing on the back side. There's not. Don't want to get, there's some traces right there. So I'm going to stay a little bit off the edge. And I'm going to get a drill. And I'm going to drill. And I'm going to solder this in that direction because that says positive there. I'm going to just solder this in real quick. I don't have any of the thick solder.
Alrighty. Okay, and let me get a diode, because this one had a rechargeable battery on it originally. So you got to put a blocking diode so that the board can't try to charge this little coin cell battery we're going to throw in there. So we want the electricity can only go towards the negative side there. So we want it like that. I'm going to go ahead and solder this thing first. And I guess if I wanted to, I could put a sleeve on there, but I don't think I'm going to. Woo! That was really, really hot. I don't know why it gets so hot when I'm soldering on things. Okay. Battery on here. Let me get a magic marker and date it. So when it is dead in 10 years, somebody will know, wow, that's a 10-year-old battery. So we're 4 of 25. And I'm off screen. There you go, 425. All right, now let's go throw it in the game. As I'm walking over the game, one more thing I had to do, I had to move some of these jumpers around. This was, as I took it out of the gold ball, it had a 2532 and a 2732. And the ROMs I downloaded are a 2732 and a 2732. So they require these little jumpers. So like this one here is not there. This one here went down to like that. I moved a couple, there was only 3 or 4 I had to move, so it wasn't too bad. So I'm gonna throw it in there real quick, take out this Weebly, save that for another one, put that $167 in my pocket. Check out that gold ball. It polished up pretty well. Got a couple more spots to polish, but it was getting hot. But yeah, that's the whole thing that inspired me to keep going with this game. So smoke test. Come on, let's work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No lamps at all. Just a couple locked on ones. That's not real cool. Hit the well, that's kind of weird. 7 flashes, but it ain't booted. Well, that was a sucker punch. Dang. Well, I may pull this $167 back out of my pocket. That's close to working. Get 7 flashes there, they're usually good. I'll look on PinWiki and see what it says. Usually there is some verbiage. I've read it before about what happens if it doesn't boot and you got the 7 flashes. Maybe I'll go read that. So I'm really confused here. This is a 35 version of the game, which is what Bally did for most of their games. There's 17 and 35. A lot of them are 35. But this is a 133 based game. And the only difference between 35 and 133 is that this R113 is supposed to be a diode on the 133 games. So, but this is the board that was in here. I wrote it on here so I wouldn't get them mixed up. How is this working? That's not a diode. That's a resistor. But it's supposed to be a diode for the 133 games. I think because it doesn't use this. I can't understand. Do I need to take that resistor out of there and put in a diode? I'm tempted to. On the other hand, it seemed like it must have been working with the resistor in there. So like I said, I'm really confused about this. I just reading on wasn't Pin Wiki, I was a Pinball Repair Guide. Another site I look at a lot. I'm gonna go read some more. Yeah, here's talking about it. Yeah, R113 has changed to a diode, CR52. The reason I remember this because I had a guy bring in a game that it was a 8-ball, it was an original 8-ball in a box. Wanted me to put it back together. Had an MPU in it, and it was a 133 MPU, and I could not get the 7th flash on that thing. And the reason is it doesn't have a 7th flash because the 133 games don't have a 7th flash. But so maybe the 133 games will run with a 35 board. Maybe that's what it is. I really don't know. Maybe I'll read a little bit more. Okay, PinWiki to the rescue again. 133 board was in 3 games. That's not exactly true because if we look over here on Gold Ball on pin side, it's also a 133 game. So anyway, if you want to use a 133 board in a game, use another board, you must change the diode to a 2K resistor. Mine already has a 2K resistor, like a 35. If you want to use a 35 board game in a game that requires a 133, change resistor 113 to a diode banded farthest away from J4. Important, before plugging in the board, well, I haven't done that. I've done everything after the plugging it in. Measure the voltage at MPU J415. If it's 6.3 volts AC, this game requires a 133. Well, I guess I could do that. J415. I've got another board here. Which connector is J4? It's this one. So 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. What? 15 is dead. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Oh, 15. Okay, so it's just one below the key. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. One below the key. So I'll measure the voltage on there, and we will put this to bed. So I'm measuring almost 11 volts AC on that pin. So I'm gonna pull this board out of here. I'm gonna switch R113 with a little diode, and maybe it'll work then. And I think we'll only get 6 flashes. I don't know. All right, so I got this halfway back in the game. I got my displays, and I've got a little diode toward this. Where is it? It's right there. Got my diode in there. So we'll do a smoke test, see if we get anything. Okay, it's flashing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Same. Huh. Well, kind of what I thought. That's why I didn't put it all the way in the game. I'm hearing the relay clicking, like after the 6th or 7th. You know, it's like it's close. Something's just not right. I'm gonna need to check my jumpers again. Make sure all the sockets are all the way in. I'm not missing a leg. Something's silly. It's close. I think if something was something like that, I'd get an error. It wouldn't go through the sequence, but something's not quite right. Well, I checked the jumpers on there, and one of these I got in the wrong place. It's supposed to be 16A to 29, and I got it in 16A to 18. So I was reading the wrong row on the PinWiki guide. So I'm gonna move this up to there, and that's where it was. That's not a jumper I put on there. I just moved it. So I'll move it back, and hopefully, maybe it'll start a game or fully boot. It's weird that it even went through the 7 flashes with it in the wrong place, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, it's back in the game one more time, and I just got the displays plugged in. We'll see what happens.
Whoa, that's it. It's booted. I guess, yeah, that's got the controlled lamps coming out there too. And we got 25 credits. I should plug in this one right here for the cabinet and see if it'll start a game. I got that plugged in, press the credit button. Nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. Oh, balls. Jeez, after all that I've been through, I know. And I don't, other than manually, it's kind of hard to get a ball in there. Let me pick this up and I'll show you. Oh, I picked it up and figured it out. So there's I think that's another trap door right there, which allows the ball to go in that little hole there, which is that hole there, and it comes down here, and that's how it gets to this little hidey hole, and that's where the gold ball stays. And the rest of the balls, they just go through the normal chute, and they go right over that little, that's where the gold balls come up through, and the rest of them run right over that little gate. So to get this thing loaded, I'm not sure the best way, but I just picked that up and put the gold ball down in there. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Okay, I've got the 2 balls in there. I'm gonna hit the start button again. Oh, sweet. I got my $167 back in my pocket again. So yeah, that was the original one. I still don't quite understand how that was working with the resistor. Maybe just because the board was in there, maybe it never worked. It had the original ROMs in there, so I don't know. It probably was working. One of y'all tell me how that was working in a 133 game, because it's definitely using the AC voltage for the crossover, and it should need a diode. I don't know. But anyway, I saved myself the cost of an MPU. So that's cool. So this thing is up and running. Definitely got some work. A lot of the lamps don't work. I'm not sure I've ever seen that thing go. That little hinge. Don't think. Let's just go through the test real quick here. And then the solenoid test. Oh, it does work. Sure enough. That's clever as hell. I love it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to fix this game up. I love the little trapdoor. All right, well, so now I'm saying mañana. See you tomorrow. And if you like it, click like and subscribe, and adios.